Good evening, welcome. It's good to see a lot of you here tonight. We'd like to encourage you to begin to share the link. Uh, Ask someone to join us. We see that our connection to LinkedIn is temporarily down. Again, Facebook is probably, I don't know what's going on, but for the most part, we are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and the Issues Room page. Welcome to this 162nd edition of our broadcast here tonight. We come here on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we encourage you to continue to um, join us for each broadcast here this evening. I'm trying to kind of remedy some things here, but for the most part, we will have to broadcast without LinkedIn tonight. Or maybe at some point I may be able to do something during the course of the production. But we want to welcome you. Please share the link. This evening conversation is community service production. The first half of our 162nd edition will be for a community service production. And what do I mean? Community service production, because we're featuring a nonprofit organization, the Booker Washington Institute Alumni Association here in these Americas. They will be coming here to tell us about a planned convention this month, and also what are they doing in Liberia, particularly their alma mater. We'll hold that conversation. We'll spend an hour with them, and we'll go into other segments of the production here tonight. So again, welcome, Volcano Shelton here with you. Alphonso is in his studio out there in the northeast. Is it the northeast?
Yeah.
Okay. And Moses Sandy is out there in Delaware. Moses, you're completely below the border line. You got to elevate a little bit. There you go. Because I don't want you come here and trying to. You're still below the border line, but get yourself. I'm watching you and straighten up, and then I'll come back to you. But Alfonso, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, Volcano. Great to see you again. I'm happy to be here. Thanks to all of our listeners out there. And yes, I think this is a really great topic. And then if really recognizing efforts being made by people in the community to assist the country is worthwhile.
And Moses Sandy is still shaking himself, as I told you. There we go. Man, listen, man, this kind of thing, man, you know how he look.
Not bad.
No, no, he looked like he trying to solve Liberia's problem. The whole country, he left in the country. All the problem Liberia got to put it on the man, my man. All right, I think he's situated now. Welcome, Moses.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's always a pleasure being in the issues room. So I know today we come to talk, and let me make this self-disclosure. I'm a graduate of BWINAANA, and so the guests in the house today, we come from the same family. So I don't want somebody to say, "Oh, well, you didn't make this self-disclosure." I'm a graduate of the most notable Booker Washington Institute in Kakata, Mahakibi County.
All right, Moses, good to see you, man. Listen,
It's good to see you guys too, man.
This is more of a community service production, and so we're not going to talk any Liberian politics here tonight. Of course, there's a potential. The politics will be at the BWI level. We'll talk about the politics at the BWI level, but overall, we're here to discuss what the Alumni Association is doing here in the States, and coupled with what they're doing in Liberia, where they are, and what this planned convention is about. So let me just go quickly to the president who is sitting back stage, Mr. Eric Harris. Eric, your lighting is horrible. We can't see you.
Eric, we can see you.
The back, so we'll come back to you. Let's go to the president of the Delvad chapter.
That's good.
Mr. Tarlow Miller.
Yes.
Ms. Miller, how are you?
All right, let's go back. Let's go back. I think
there's noise in the background. Wow, who's driving?
What's this? Let me settle this thing. Overall,
yeah,
there's a reflection coming from behind you, Mr. President. There's a reflection in your bag. Are you sitting behind,
A lot
I
of
mean,
noise.
in front of a window?
Who's window for me?
Yeah. Okay.
Is
Close
he,
it.
where is he? In
I like
Liberia?
it. I like it.
Uh,
Let's see.
and
Let me handle it.
I hope my lighting is a little better now.
It's not like the squeaky doors. It's not. It's not your lighting. The problem is the reflection coming from behind you. I don't know if that's a window, an open window in your back, or your lighting in
They
your back.
like the in the back.
So
like that. Okay, good. Yeah, I think that's good now.
okay,
Yeah, that's good.
if there's a way you can zoom yourself into your camera, we can go from there. Just to zoom yourself into the camera. There you go. Come on,
Good.
a little more, just a little more. All right.
Okay, good.
Thank
It's
you.
okay.
All right. Welcome, Mr. President. And this conversation, we hope that you guys will be focused. If you have any distraction, try to tell those people to stay away because you're on live. And this is a global phenomenon. You don't know who's watching. So let's get tuning. Moses, you want to start the
Yeah.
conversation?
Yeah. Let me just ask our guests, because I'm hearing a lot of noise in the background. Are you in an environment that is so noisy? Because all right, okay. So what you do is if there's a lot of noise in the background, you can just mute yourself. Then later when we ask a question you're about to come in, you can unmute. That can help us. Yeah. Today uh we are hosting the leadership of the Booker Washington Institute BWI. um Alumni Association in the North America. Uh, it's our understanding that the BWI Alumni Association has a planned convention, and the convention, I'm told, going to kick off on the 30th of this month and run through the 2nd of July. And that's going to be in my town. It's going to be in the state of Delaware. So, Mr. President Eric Harris, National President, and Ms. Tarlow Miller will having to be the chapter leader or the president of the Delaware Valley chapter. The both of them are here tonight to tell us more about the convention, the Alumni Association, the projects, the undertaking in the country. So, on behalf of our colleagues, meaning the Issues Room family, Volcano Shelton, Alphonso, myself, I'd like to welcome you to the Issues Room. So, to kick this discussion off, we'd like to begin with you, Mr. Harris. Please tell us a bit about yourself, and then later you can transition to your role in the Alumni Association. And then after that, we're going to go to Ms. Miller to do likewise. So, Mr. Harris, go ahead. We want to know you.
uh, First, let me say thanks for giving me an opportunity to join you guys in the issue room. It's a pleasure. Whenever it comes to talking about BWI, it's always a good thing because we know BWI happens to be one of the leading associations within the Americas. About me, class of '86, graduated from BWI, went to LU, came to the States, went to school, yeah. Living in Maryland, in the Maryland area, been living in the Maryland area for the last 20 something years, back and forth to Monrovia every now and then. But yes, let's focusing on BWI. We, like you rightly said, we getting ready for our 30th convention coming up the end of the month. Something that we have looked forward to for the last 30 years. Meeting as an association, not just to celebrate our years on campus, but also raise funds to help the unfortunate brothers and sisters that we have in Liberia. Um, we have been very, very, very successful in participating in the growth of the students back home, not just the educational side of it, but the well-being, the health. We have contributed towards the clinic. We have an agriculture project on campus that not only helping to feed the students, but also helping to train the minds of the students to the new agriculture system, the green agriculture system, and a lot of things. Students on scholarship, we contribute to that, and we're looking forward to a successful convention this year. Um, I will stop here and turn it over to Madam President to say a few words, and I'm sure will come back to me.
Good evening to everyone in the issue room. Thank you for having me. I am Tarlow Miller, originally Jala Maria Miller. I'm a 1979 graduate of the Booker Washington Institute. Interestingly, I graduated in the field of architectural drafting. Worked few years in that area, but had to transition off because it's not a female, dominating area. So I had to change career and migrated to the United States in 1995, and I have been here since. I served my chapter, Delaware Valley chapter, as vice president under the leadership of the late Steve Quire, and then became the president after our former president Justin Wenner. And this year we are hosting the convention in Newcastle, Delaware, and I'm looking forward to people showing up. Looking forward to our graduates from within the tri-state area, because Delaware Valley comprises of Trenton, New Jersey, and Philadelphia and Delaware. So that makes up the component of the Delaware Valley chapter. So we'll be hosting our convention this year in Newcastle, and we asking our members out there and guests to come out and support us. As our president was saying, Eric Harris, we have projects and things on campus that we have been undertaking and we want to continue to undertake. And also in our own chapter here, we look forward to sponsoring our students, because every chapter have students that is sponsored on campus in association with the national leadership. So we kind of raise funds, and this is a good time for us to raise funds for the scholarships that we have in Liberia. So I'm looking forward to having a great time during this convention.
Thank you. Quickly, we want to ask you to please encourage others to join the show here, your alumni association members.
We've been trying to asking for the link to join on, but somebody just got a link and put it on the group chat, so we will have people joining in.
Okay, let's hope for that, because we want to really give your group the opportunity to be a part of this conversation. So at some point we'll open the line, at least for 5 minutes, to give them the opportunity to call, or they can chime in and we'll post those questions that they may have. But Mr. President, good to see you. First of all, from what I heard, currently the BWI Alumni Association is in two parts, meaning there is currently a split. What is happening? And this seemed to be the common theme of many of the Liberian organizations here in the U.S. There's always that infighting, and people go on the left side and the right side. You would think that an educational organization will hold together. You got the politics will come out of it, and because the focus of why you guys came to power or came together as an organization was to give back to your alma mater and to support the educational cause that Booker Washington himself, an educator, a black educator who saw the need for the black race to be educated, put his time in. And I believe there were politicians then, but he overlooked those things to make sure that his mission and vision were carried out. What is happening right now with the organization and the divide?
Yes, sir. Thanks for that question. Reddit. I'm not going to go into the full details because of time. I know we won't be able to do that. But yes, I think when you started the call, you talked about politics. When you have these social organizations, especially organizations geared toward helping the unfortunate, you want to keep politics out of it.
Mhm.
And unfortunately for us, our association took a different turn last year when we had our election, and the election did not turn out successful as we intended it to. But you asked me, why am I even in this position? I shouldn't be in the position I'm in, but I'm in this position because of the situation that took place last year, June, in the New Jersey area. We had a protest filed by one of the groups that were running, and based on that protest that was filed, the election commission refused to handle a result that put us in the position we in today. Yes, we are two-part, as you say, and the goal for this convention is to set up an interim leadership team that would take us to election next year. The question come about why you're not having a re-election this year. Two reasons why we're not having an election this year. One, our constitution states that we hold election every 2 years, so that gives us until 2024 to have a new election. The second thing is we could not find anybody to take to run for leadership because of the situation we have with the two teams that ran. So really, the focus of this convention this year is to set up an interim leadership and mandate that leadership to organize an election for 2024, and also set up a constitution committee that will review our constitution and amend those clauses in the constitution that will help protect us from the situation we found ourselves in last year. So yeah, we the key to especially most of the Liberian Association, when you bring in politics into the social organization, it tends to take things off course. And I think that what happened to BWI Alumni Association. We know that BWI Alumni Association was used as a milestone for other Liberian associations, and to find ourselves caught up into the situation we in is very disheartening. People ask why I'm still in leadership. I'm in leadership because you need a balance. You need somebody to serve as a middleman to reach out to the groups and help unite the association. And that's the role we have been playing, hoping that at this convention in the Delaware Valley area, we will be able to set up this intern that will help usher us into election 2024.
Just before Alfonso coming with his question, my next question would be: you talked about bringing this convention to Delaware. With the split now, have you reached out to the other camp with the hope that they will come? Because if you put in an interim leadership in office, you want to ensure that interim leadership is serving the alumni association, not the left wing, not the right wing.
Yes, sir. Good question. Yes, we have. In fact, we have done several things. At the initial stage when this took place, we set up committee that was asked to reach out to the two groups and help bring the two groups together. A couple of weeks ago, we was invited to Minnesota by the chapter in Minnesota, who also is a member. One of the Kennedys also a member of that chapter. During that meeting, both parties were there. We were also invited, and during that meeting, both groups signed a document stating that they were prepared to work together, and they were supposed to meet and strategize how to bring the two groups together for us to resolve this issue. So based on that document that is signed, willing to work together, we're going to hold them to that document and hoping that they will see reason to come to Delaware so both parties can get together and form this interim that will usher us into 2024. Because the thing is, when there's an issue, you got to come to the table. We hoping that they will see reason to do that based on the document it's signed. So yes, we have been engaged with both groups, mediating with them, and we hoping with strong conviction that they will see reason to come to Delaware Valley for us to be able to at least start the process of reuniting the association.
Alphonso.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome, National President and Delaware Valley President of the BWI Alumni Association. My question is actually two questions. One, what is your membership? What does your membership look like in the U.S. and maybe do you also want to talk about some of the projects and activities that you want to fund? Because what I heard from Miss Miller is that, or Mrs. Miller, sorry, is that you guys will be fundraising. So that what are some of the projects that you want to support from this fundraising? And then, of course, the first question is, what is your membership in the U.S.?
Okay, so the way BWI Alumni Association is set up, we have 14 chapters across the United States. 14 chapters in 14 different states. Each chapter have a membership somewhere between 20 to 30 members. So if you're looking at an overall, our membership, I mean, when I say membership, I'm talking active member, we might run somewhere between 150, 200 members at convention. Outside that, BWI Alumni Association is large across the country. So with those 14 chapters, each chapter has a leadership team, and the leadership team works up to the national leadership. So we sit at the national leadership with 14 chapters president serving as executive officer of the convention. When it comes to projects, when we took over back in 2016, there were a number of projects that we launched, but our key project that was launched was an agriculture project that was established on BWI campus. We partnered with a group here, Liberian-owned group here, through the University of Washington, D.C., to go to Monrovia and establish a greenhouse agriculture project. That project was dedicated last year, if I'm not mistaken, 2022. And our key speaker at the convention was the Minister of Agriculture. She was part of that project. She bought into it. We had all of the executives, the foreign executives from the various agricultural groups present at that dedication service. Outside that, we have worked to maintain our clinic, BWI 2021-2022 BWI clinic was the #1 clinic in the Magidi area because of a partnership with a group out of Chicago that helped us to supply BWI clinic with medication and medical supplies to help the students. Also there we have somewhere between 10 to 15 students on scholarship that the association is responsible every year to meet their educational needs. A couple of things we did. We mattresses. The association back in 2018 were able to send 280 something mattresses on campus to help the students that was moving to campus and did not have means of mattresses to support. We have worked closely with administration in various ways. We had a situation back in 2021 where the roof of the academic building was blown off by the storm. This association reached out, and I think somewhere in the tune of $10,000 were able to work with the association to restore that. So we have really worked hard to make our presence felt on campus as an association. A lot of things that we have engaged in partnership with the Alumni Association on the ground, partnership with the Board of Governors on the ground, the faculty and staff on BDI campus. 2021, our convention invited the principal, the chairman of the board, and one of our alumni, one of our students that we will sponsor came to one of our conventions back in 2018 and were part of the services. So we have built that bridge between us and the folks on the ground. We have established that partnership where they gave us reasons to support a project, and once that reason they gave us makes sense, we'll go ahead and do that. So we have worked in various capacity to help make our presence felt on campus.
I think we should hear from Ms. Miller, right?
Yeah, if she has anything to add.
Oh yeah, in line of the fundraiser you were asking, and about the fundraiser, our fundraiser is geared towards our scholarship for the students that we have and that we are sponsoring on campus. So we're looking forward to raising a good bit of money this come the weekend of June 30th to July 2nd.
Yeah, so we always have our Queen contest on Friday night, and money raised from that Queen contest goes directly to our scholarship funds. We also have our vendor riches endowment funds, where every year we contribute towards that fund, and money from that fund goes towards project on campus, help us maintain projects on campus out of that endowment, our vendor riches endowment funds.
To ask quickly, as you plan for 3 days, the 32 is the 2nd of July, just give us a breakdown of your activities. What are some of the things that you guys will be doing? Talk to us and talk to the many people who are listening to you, and why you think people should attend your event.
Wow, great. I'm
We
sorry
can
that
start with you, Mr. Yeah, go ahead.
so I'm sorry that our social chair is not part of this meeting, but we have a full weekend activity set up. Normally, we start our convention from Thursday night. Thursday night, we have a night called the President's Night, where all the various chapter presidents will come together, and we have a dinner where we will stand around and chat and get to know, because each chapter has its own problems. We chat around and get to know the problems in the various chapters. What can the national do to help? That's for Thursday night, really laid back night. Friday night is our Queen Contest night, where the host chapter is responsible for that night. We get together, food, drinks, and we have our Queen Contest raise funds to help the students on campus, the scholarship students that we support. On Saturday, all day Saturdays are our meetings. We hear from our various reports. And Saturday night is our dinner ball, where we have our guest speaker comes in, and that's our type of night where we come out, have fun, and people dress up in their best, and show our gratitude for our school. Sunday morning, we all gather for chapel service and bid farewell to each other and look forward to our next convention.
Anything from your end, Tyler, you want to add?
Miss
Yeah.
Miller?
Yes. After the chapel service, we'll be having a farewell brunch at one of our members' home, Hassan Tor. He will be hosting us for our farewell brunch. But also want to encourage people to come on Friday night. Friday night is our main fundraiser night for our scholarships. So please come out and support us. We just have a little entrance fee of $20. And people come out and support us.
So,
But we
so,
look forward to having a fun time.
so for the Saturday program, what are some of the attractions you have there during the program? Any special artists? I mean, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
give us a breakdown of what you would rather be doing. Yeah.
The Saturday night program.
Yeah, Saturday.
It's a banquet. It's a banquet ball. We are going to have a guest speaker. We're going to have a guest speaker, and mostly during the Saturday night, the banquet and the ball, it's a great time for, we call it a reunion, because people will not have the chance to attend the convention during the day because of work schedule and stuff like that. But Saturday night, we all come together and have a great time. We're going to have a guest speaker, and also we look forward to crowning our queen and just have some celebration.
Mr. President, quickly, let me just ask you here. This free education thing that is happening in Liberia right now, how is it aligned with the Booker's Washington Institute? Is it happening there? Because I hear you talk about sponsorship and paying tuition and so forth. Is the free education making sense at Booker Washington? Is it impactful there?
No. The thing is, the government support to BWI is not like before. They have cut the budget a couple of times, and there is no way you can have a boarding school and don't have the full support from government. So if you talk about free education and not supporting it financially, it becomes a problem. As an association, we try to stay away from the politics side of it, but the principal talk to us every now and then. 2 years ago, we had a town hall with the principal, and these were some of the questions that came about. I visited the campus last year, and there were questions about the students' activities. Why are the students leaving campus and going to Kakatown on a weekend? When we were there, we looked forward to weekend activities on campus where there were sporting activities, where there were a newsroom, Sandy can attest to it, there were EL2 BWI, where people engaged in on the weekend. All of those things after the war.
Talent show, you did talent show too?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, all of those things happening.
We had talent show, we had Glee Club.
Every day, yeah. We have one of the best choir groups too. Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
were you in the choir, Moses?
Oh, look at the man.
So we went away from those things. We went away from those things. So we had meetings with the students.
These things are not happening because lack of funding.
Yeah, lack of funding, one. And the second part of it, most of the students on campus, unlike us, have their family in Kakatown. You know, their wife, their kids in Kakatown. And they
already got wife and kids.
Yeah, and they find reason to go back to Kakatown. So we say, okay, look, we got to find means to keep the students on campus so they can have that campus life. You can't call yourself a boarding student and every weekend you're in Kakatown, every day you're in Kakatown. You have to stop that. So we begin to work along with the principal. What we came up with, we said, okay, look, let's rebuild the student center. Let's put some flat screen TV in there where They can watch the news. They can watch
Sporting
the
events.
sporting events, and that kind of thing. And when we started to look at those kind of situations, we had groups where were donating sporting activities to the various groups on campus to help them reorganize themselves. And those things begin to take impact on the students. And now you found that students now were now running to Kakata on the weekend for finding reason to stay on campus. So no, I mean, free education, you can't just say it and do support it. You know, you have to support free education if you want it to work. So this is why we find reason. We hope that we can put more students on scholarship where we can take away that financial burden from them. So we need to come together. That's why as soon as possible, this group can reunite and call ourselves the greatest again. Definitely going to help those unfortunate students on campus.
All right, my last question before my colleagues come in. That question has to do with whether there's e-learning going on, Wi-Fi, those kinds of things, because that's the age now that we're going. And if that's happening, how is it supported? And what are some of the pressing needs at BWI right now, so that those who are listening, it doesn't have to be alumni members, it can be philanthropists, government officials, people who want to give. What are some of the pressing needs that you and the principal have talked about? And also if there's e-learning going on.
Okay, yeah. So first, let me report this. BWI just yesterday and today, if you watch the news, BWI was named the 10th vocational school in the world. Whether you saw that.
Say that again. We kind of lost you there. Say that again.
The BWI Alumni Association was named the 10th vocational school in the world.
You keep going out when you come to
yeah.
No, I think what I heard
somebody don't want to
hold on.
BWI was named the 10th vocational high school.
Okay, the 10th vocational high school
in the world. That's what he said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let me reiterate quick. You said that BWI was voted 10th vocational high school in the world. Okay. Continue.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's not coming out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope we don't have a BW Harris or Northern High graduate on the call.
Not that.
I'll mute us. Meaning I'll mute the other panelists, because if I mute myself, then nobody will hear you. So go ahead, say your thing.
Yeah. So I visited when we dedicated our agriculture project. The school also dedicated the computer room, and I'm telling you, the computer room is so advanced. It was one of the first time I have seen in Liberia since I left Liberia. And it's you talk about Wi-Fi. I mean, it's fully furnished. The project, I graduated from the electronics department, and all of the projects that is being undertaken now on campus is done in the computer room. All of the mechanical drawing, the electrical drawing is all done in the computer room. So yeah, BWI has taken a completely different turn, and you'll be surprised with all the support from United Nations, and the USAID project has helped to rebuild BWI. And I think BWI, if they can keep the politics out of it, BWI is ready, taking an upward turn for the good. If it continue, I'm telling you that BWI will be the number one, not only in Africa, but I'm telling you across the world. Good things are happening, and we're happy to continue to be a part of it.
The last question I ask you: what's pressing? What's the pressing needs now?
Good. The pressing needs. Again, we're still having the challenge of keeping a social life on campus. So the need is we need to continue to rebuild our student center. We need to continue to like the Radio 2 BWI. We don't have that radio station back up. Mostly, I hope with your own expertise, I hope we can begin to work together to help reestablish the year 2 BWI. We also looking at our clinic. We hoping to partnership with the group beginning in Chicago to have continuous supply of medical supply and medical equipment on campus. So anything in regards to medical, social life on campus, those are needs of the students right now.
Alfonso.
Yeah, I want to go to academics and skills training, which actually was the mission of BWI. So my question around that is, what are you? Do you know? If you know, if you don't know, that's fine. But what are the areas of skills training that are currently being provided at BWI?
Oh no! So BWI, nothing has changed. We still have our agriculture department, the electrical and electronics department kind of combined because of instructors to handle those courses. But we still have the mechanical, the auto department, the electrical department, the business department. I'm not sure whether the home economic department is still fully functional. When I last spoke with the principal, but it was something that they were still looking at. For all of those departments, all that we left during the normal days have all reopened, and BWI is operating full-fledged now. The only problem is instructors getting those instructor back on campus that will continue the learning process. But BWI is operating full-fledged as we speak.
So you have the needed instructors for those programs, or you have a
presently? Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But then it comes to training. In order to keep to especially vocational schools to stay on par with other vocational schools, you will have to have the rotational training where you sending your professors out to get hands-on training, new training to go back to help. I know BWI and LU just signed a memorandum where they will continue to work together, especially those students migrating from BWI that can go directly into the LU system. That memorandum has been signed and presently is taking place.
Let me ask Mrs. Miller, what the chapter is doing. What's your project? Because what we hear here is now at the national level. But tell us what you're doing at your chapter level here in the Delaware chapter.
Okay, here's the thing. The 14 chapters, we all support the national. So whatever fund that we raise, help the national to forward the projects and things that we have on BWI. So for us in the Delaware Valley right now, our focus here is getting this convention over, and then we'll start outlining other issues that we want to tackle. But our main goal here is to support national. Each of the chapter, meeting our membership, help locally with our members, reach out to our members in terms of bereavement, illness, and stuff like that. But our main support goes to the national. So we support the local chapter, support the national in order for because the national is just sitting there. Without the chapter, there's no national. So the local chapter support the national.
So, Mr. President, you said that you almost shouldn't be in power. What that means? Are you an interim president, meaning because of the fact that you guys didn't have elections, you were asked to just hold the organization going, solve your matter?
Yeah, they say it's better to leave when you're on top than when you're on the bottom, right? BWI, the way we run, is every 2 years election. So I did my first 2 years. I ran for a second 2 years. but then we got hit with
COVID.
COVID, and the constitution was suspended. And I asked my leadership team to stay on for another 2 years. So we're sitting now in our 6th year, hoping that this going election was going to be successful. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And we did not see it fit to leave a vacuum within the association and walk away. We know that we have so much on the line to do that. So my administration stay in as a buffer between the two groups, working along with the two groups to resolve this issue. So really, I think we, if I may say, we have overstayed, and it's about time we have a new leadership. And my administration is looking forward to this convention and working along with the local chapters in order to put together interim leadership that will usher in 2024 into a new leadership. The time has come. It's way completely overdue, and we need to resolve this. I have the strong conviction that we will. Delaware Valley has assured us that we're going to have a successful convention. We have had series of meetings with various chapters who will be coming to the convention, and we will put together an interim leadership that will bring BWI back to its original status.
Quickly, I know you've been talking about support, how you guys have been supporting the schools, students, which is all great. My question has to do with your other members of your alumni association. So there's people who are doing skills training on the campus, they graduate. What is the job market there? And are you helping with anything related to jobs? Or do you know that in fact there's the job market there that's absorbing them in Liberia?
Yes, and I remember when I spoke to the principal sometimes at the beginning of the year, and he was telling me that because so BWI have a system where they send the students out for job training during the senior year. When they go to the senior year, they go out for job training, and sometimes right after the job training, they get placement within whatever agency or work or whatever department the studies in, and they've really been successful, especially the auto department, the electrical department. They have been the society because of the shortage of manpower in Liberia. Those students have really been successful in finding placement within the company and the government agencies in Liberia. So yes, job-wise, so far students have been doing pretty good. And with this new information that came out yesterday, I think it's even going to propel them to even do better. So yeah, BWI is doing pretty good. I mean, I'm proud to say that. I know other schools vocational schools are there, but I think BWI are already taking the lead role in leading especially the grassroots manpower of Liberia.
Okay, so if I could just come in quickly, my interest is really taken to the statement which Mr. President you made earlier, which has to do with government budgetary allocation to the Boko Washington Institute. And you said over the years, administration has complained about BWI, funding being reduced. So as we speak now, and maybe this is where I would like to hear from Mrs. Miller. As we speak now, what is government's budgetary allocation for BWI? Where does BWI fit in the national budget of Liberia? What is it like?
So to answer that, I would say this. One thing that I took over, I'm not going to speak for past administration. When I took over, I said my first meeting with the principal was BWI Alumni Association will stay away from you and governmental issues. Tell us what can we do to support the students, because our goal is directed geared towards the students on campus. Whatever we do, we try to do things that affects the lives of students on campus. The situation with, because if you remember, I sure Moses will have a better idea about it. A couple of years ago, there was an issue where the principal got released off his position. The president didn't know about it, and it was all this back and forth. And people kept asking, "What are you guys doing? Are you guys trying to set up a meeting with the president to find out?" And I always said, "Guys, we are a social arm of BWI.
When you say
Let's
president, who
leave
you mean? President we are?
President. We are, yes,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Let's just
And
clarify.
so I don't know, and the reason why I choose to stay away from the Morovia politics when it comes to BWI. Our goal as an association has been to help change the lives of students on campus, what they eat, what they use to go to school, how can we keep the students healthy, what can we do to change their social life on campus. So all our work has been geared around that, and not worrying about, I mean, when there's issue on campus and the principal needs to reach out to us, yes, he will. But when it comes to their activities with government, we stay away from that.
Let's localize this. Uh, if you are, and first let me begin on this positive note. It seems that the Alumni Association, you guys have done a lot of good work. Better helping BWI. That's highly commendable. But I also strongly believe that if you are helping somebody, and maybe to take care of his family, you need to understand, you know, what is the family situation. If they are not meeting up with their rent, and somebody is earning over $200,000, then that's a problem. So, if you are helping the Boko Washington Institute, don't you think it makes a lot of sense to know where government stands when it comes to supporting uh, learning at BWI? Because it's government's responsibility. The government, over the year when you and I were there, BWI was funded. Don't you think it makes a lot of sense for you to know how much goes to BWI, so
But
that you are not overspending when they really have more than needed? Tell us, yeah, what's going on?
no, it's due. I mean, and you make a lot of sense. But again, let's go to our structure. Uh, BWI has a board of governors on the ground.
That's what you need to know as national president,
Yeah, so
because you
we
coordinate with the board of directors, Mr. President. You coordinate with the board of directors. You have a good understanding of how the administration is run. You know the daily activities of the institution. You should be able to give us the number that, hey, for 2023, 2022, 2023, this is the government's allocation. And that's why we think we need to raise more money to help BWI. You raising money a few weeks from now. Don't you think it's very important to tell the many people out there how much BWI is benefiting from this government?
yeah, I get your point, and will not give you numbers. Not that we don't know that information, but again, we come in where the principal knows that they fall short. Like I stated a couple of years ago, we provided mattresses for the students. We provided medication for the clinic and that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't want to throw a number of figure out there that I'm not fully clothed with, or have the authority to do. But yes, we have this conversation because the chairman of the board of governors is part of the association. Yeah, We also have a mother chapter on the ground, an alumni association on the ground that has a member that is appointed to the board that feed us with information. So we do have this information. They provided to us. Can we speak on it? For me, I choose not to because again, uh, uh, my effort, my strength goes to supporting the students, and I try to keep it that way and stay on it because once you begin to to dive into how much the government giving them and what they're allocating it for, then you find yourself tying up with the government and all of these things. And
Uh,
I think
Mr.
as an
President.
association,
Moses,
we choose
Moses,
to stay away
Yeah.
from that.
the president. No,
Volcano, please.
Moses, hold on,
Yeah.
Moses, hold on. We're about
Yeah.
to hit an hour, and I
Yeah.
have to post the number so that
Mm-hmm.
folks can call. Give the
Sure.
opportunity to the alumni members who will be willing to call here, or even our viewers who will want to know more about BWI. So I just want to quickly say that. And the president, you used the word the other day, euphemistic. The president is being professionally euphemistic, non-political in this conversation. He's trying to stay as a non-profit that is helping the institution, but you're trying to haul him into the political conundrum that is currently going on. And I don't know
Love, love Volcano.
I don't know how you're going to win it, but go ahead. Go
My
ahead.
brother.
Just try
Yeah.
your luck. Try your luck, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. My brother. Actually, the information we're asking for, I'm sure Sister Miller will agree with me, is public information.
But let me quickly remind folks the number to call 404-272-2808. Call, speak with the president of the Del Valle chapter. Let's talk BWI. BWI was one of the schools that I prayed, who I've hoped to go to, but you know, those days no money, and so we didn't go to BWI.
Yeah.
So
So, Mr. President, I know you don't trying to ruffle, feathers back home. You want to stay above the fray, but this would be my advice to you, to the leadership, that if you're going to raise money and to help an institution, I'm sure Sister Miller will agree, then you need to know what is happening at that institution financially. Because if you do not know the needs of the people, why you keep throwing money on them? Maybe they have more money than you have. So we need to know whether they have money and what those issues are. And that, and from what you guys are presenting, it seems to suggest that we have a limited understanding of what is really happening to happening to BWR financially. BWR, like any other public institution, is challenged, but sometimes it's good to hear from the horse's mouth. That's why I just thought to put our questions to you to really tell us where BWR stands in terms of government funding.
No,
So,
so
yeah,
I just want to quickly
I support your question 100%, and
yeah.
that's why every convention we have had, the principal presents his report,
Mm-hmm.
and all of those information is part of his report that he presents to the association. So definitely we are aware, we know what's happening, but we choose what role to play, pretty much.
quickly.
Okay.
This segment going to end at 8:15. So we got
Yeah,
15 minutes
Mrs.
to
Miller.
go.
Mhm.
What's this? I'm coming on.
Okay.
We got 15 more minutes to go, and the number to call again 404-272-2808. If you don't want to call, you can post your question. Thank you.
So
Just a lot of noise in the background,
It's
Volcano. I
coming
don't know
from
where it's
Tarlow.
from.
It's coming from
Oh,
Tarlow.
okay.
Go
Okay.
ahead. See once you
Yeah.
close the mic.
Okay.
You has to talk. Go ahead, Tyler.
yeah, Mr. Sunday, I know you were asking me a question in reference to whether we know about the spending on BWI or so. But I know a few years ago in one of our convention, there was an issue brought up from with the principal about talking about us sponsoring students on campus because their parents could not afford some of their basic needs that they had. So it was in this light that we as chapters decided to start releasing funds to help these students on scholarship. So like my president said, when it comes to the line of what the government spend towards the institution or so, we try to stay out of that. Our main goal here is to help our students on campus to meet their basic needs and keep them on the campus. So that's what we're going to be doing this weekend to help raise fund. We're going to be having our convention this year in Newcastle, Delaware, at the Enoch Convention Center and Banquet Hall. So we're inviting all those in the tri-state area, most especially within the Delaware area, to come out and support us for our convention.
And I would like to put this question to the president. Mr. President, I heard you say that we have 14 chapters, the BWI Alumni Association, 14 chapters. Don't you think that number is too huge? Why can't you centralize? I know that Mrs. Miller has the Delaware Valley chapter. So my understanding of that would be that the chapter brings together people from Pennsylvania, New
Delaware and New
Jersey, and
Jersey.
Delaware and New
Yeah.
Jersey.
Mr.
Yeah.
Sandy,
So why can't you centralize?
but you have 50 states in the U.S., and if you
Yeah.
only have 14 chapters, you say that's a lot?
No,
I'm just thinking.
America is divided into regions. I was just asking a question.
Yeah, but we do have regions. So
Yeah.
the association comprises of region.
So
We
those
have
chapters
so
are
and we have regional directors for this area. So
Okay.
so you have like a state like California. Now, what other chapter we join California way over there? So California is by themselves. Then we have
Okay.
the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes comprises of um,
Michigan.
Columbus, um,
Chicago.
Chicago. So that's why it's 14 chapters because we in region.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Good.
yeah,
All right.
to piggyback on what the president just said, yeah, we we need to strengthen those chapters. We even like the Southwest chapter. The Southwest chapter, you have Dallas, you have Oklahoma, you have San Antonio. So I mean, BWI graduates is across the breadth of this country. So in order to meet the needs of all of those alumni, you will have to open chapters in those areas because unlike the structure LU have, BW have a completely different establishment. And in order to meet the needs of our alumni, we will have to put chapters in those regions that we just talked about. We have 4 regions. We divide into 4 regions. Each region have a regional vice president, and that vice president is responsible to mediate between his region and the national. So so far, it have worked pretty well for us, and all we need to do is to continue to strengthen those chapters.
Let's talk about the convention, your gathering that's coming up. If I wanted to come to that convention and attend some of your programs, what are the requirements for coming? Where is this program being held?
The program is being held at the Enoch Convention Center and Ballroom in Newcastle, Delaware.
Do you have an address?
The address is 24 is Belvan Drive, Blevins Drive,
Okay.
and that's in Newcastle, Delaware, 19720. That's the zip code.
What are requirements for attending your?
So we have Saturday and we have Friday night the meet and greet and our queen contest. We have a fee of $20 entrance fee, and we have food, and you can purchase your drinks if you choose to drink. And Saturday night, which is the convention ball and the crowning of our queen, we have for patrons $100, for ordinary $50.
So and first, let me just piggyback on that question. It's my understanding that there's a package, or they're going to be a package due for graduates, right?
Yeah, for the graduate, he asked. I guess he asking for ordinary person who want to
No,
come.
I
Okay.
just wanted you to give the information, throw it out there for everybody. So yeah, you can talk about the package to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just wanted to know if say someone who is a graduate of BWI pays the $150, it means that person will have the privilege of participating in all of the events, right?
Yes.
Okay. And are you guys also giving out T-shirts as part of the package deal?
Yes. T-shirts in the package.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have your T-shirt, you have your souvenir, and you have your ticket for the banquet.
For the banquet. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so right now, if I can just jump in, right now you can go online, go on our website, and you can pay for your package. Select your t-shirt size, whatever size you want, and pay for your package there. And you have your receipt. And once you come to the convention, all you need to do is stop by and pick up your package. If you're not attending the convention and you want to pay for your package, go online, register, and with your package will be put in the mail to you. So everything is on our website. It's very user friendly.
Thank you.
Visit the website bwitaga.org, and you can pay for your package and be prepared for to avoid the rush on Friday afternoon when the convention open, and be able to have your package before you even get to the convention. Everything is part of your package. That $150 you pay, your meal ticket is in that package, your ticket to the ball is in that package, your souvenir, t-shirt, your cap, and everything that will serve you at the convention is part of that package.
Let me just ask my last question since we're about to wrap up. My question has to do with who's your guest speaker for this year and whether you have folks coming from Liberia.
Okay, so the guest speaker, I'll let the president speak on that. Coming from Liberia this year, no, we don't have the principal coming, but we're going to set up a Zoom, and the president will speak to us through Zoom this year.
Tyler, guest speaker?
Yeah. Well, we have one of our business guru in Ewing here from the Ark Mercer, Mr. Steve Cook. He will be gracing the occasion to be our guest speaker.
All right, Moses, one more question. Alfonso, one more question, and then we'll take leave of them. We're out of time.
Go ahead, Alfonso, then I'll
All right,
come in later.
one quick question. My understanding is that in the past, BWI got funding or support from abroad. Do you know if that funding is still forthcoming to the school?
No. When we took over, we met with the peer review group. That group has been in partnership with BWI. We reestablished relationship with them, but we haven't been able to sign any kind of agreement. Our goal was to establish where instructors will come from BWI to peer review for training and go back. We're hoping that the new leadership coming in will be able to pick up from where we left off to begin to reestablish those kind of relationship. But right now, funding, overseas funding for BWI, no, not from the Alumni side.
So from my end, I would just like to ask Mr. Miller, who having to be the president of the Delaware Valley chapter. One of the graduates, Augustine Sumo, you just posted here saying that he's getting report that most of the students on BW are quote unquote day students, meaning that they do not live on campus. They are not boarding students. How true is that? And then second question to you, Mrs. Miller, will also be what would be that final message for the many people that you want to see attending this convention?
The first question was most of the students are day students.
Yeah, that's what one of our graduates posted. Yeah.
Well, probably Mr. Harris can speak to that.
Yeah, I can address
Yeah,
that.
Mr. Harris can speak to that, and then
Mr. Harris, go ahead.
The thing is, cost of living is hard in Liberia. I know most of you in Liberia, right?
I can't answer that question.
Okay, so yeah, cost of living right now, I will say has caused that problem, because the thing is, most of the students on campus are parents, and being on campus takes away your ability to work, make money to support your family. So unlike when we were there, we were still living with our parents were still supporting us. The situation in Liberia has changed completely. Almost 60 or 70% of the students on campus are parents. So being a boarding student takes away that ability to provide for your family. So that's why most of the students decide to be a day student so they can support their families.
Okay, let's hear from Tarlow.
Okay, then the next issue of what I expect for my people. No, you muted Mose, so you gotta unmute yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Did you hear me? Okay. Volcano, did you mute me?
No, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Okay, do you hear me? Okay. So my final message was that how do you intend, or what would be that final message that would really encourage people to troop into Delaware for this convention? You know, what's up?
Go ahead, Tarlow.
Okay, he's muted. All right. My final message order to all our BWR graduates and friends of BWR to come up this the weekend of June 30th to July 2nd to support our convention, and also it'll be a great time for a reunion. You know, after the COVID, many of us didn't get to get back together, and also to help support our school. So I want to encourage everyone to come out and support the Delaware Valley chapter, and also to support BWI and AANA.
Can I say my final word?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. President.
Yeah, so my message would be this. BWI Alumni Association is at a crossroad. And if it has never been important to come to a convention, this is the convention that you need to come to. Reason being, we as a family is divided. And as they say, a divided house will never stand. Whatever the issue is, whatever the issue was, whatever happened in 2022 in New Jersey, we need to put it aside. Family member fight, but there always a common ground, and that common ground must be BWI. And if we love our school, if we love what we do to support the students on campus, my advice is, guys, Tigers, come together. It doesn't matter. This is not about Eric Harris. It's not about anybody out there, but it's about BWI. I would quote one of our former past national president, peace be to his ashes, he's dead. He always said, it's not about us, it's about BWI. So I'm asking all Tigers to take this convention and make it about BWI and not about them. Let's come together. Let's regroup. Let's put together a leadership team that will take us into 2024 and put us back on the map and make BWI Alumni Association the #1 association in America. Did we do everything right? Maybe not, but this is the time to make it right and go back and help our brothers and sisters back home. Thanks for the opportunity, and we look forward to seeing all of you in Delaware Valley comes June 30th.
Yes, Mose. Yes, Mose.
And Mr. President, I live in Delaware.
So
You be my guest.
I read the Eric in New Jersey.
Okay.
So, man,
Thank
where
you
are
all for
living?
having us, and I really appreciate you giving us the opportunity.
Thank you.
Sure. Yes, it's a pleasure. Tyler Harris, it was a
Moses?
pleasure having you guys. Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah.
we want to say thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We'll let you go now. We gotta go into our next segment. Again,
Thank you.
we hope that your
Thank
program will be well attended and that you will raise the necessary funding to support your alma mater.
If I got your ticket, though.
Are you getting to the issue room yet? You should be but in the issue room.
It's going to be the issue room, right?
No, they want a personal.
If I
It's a personal one.
Okay, guys, thank you so much.
Mose will
Thank
buy
you.
it.
Okay, all right.
Mose will buy the backers.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I'm a
Oh,
graduate
but
now,
listen,
man.
man, we ain't got much time. We got a few things to cover here tonight. You know, the politics continue to grow out of proportion, and it looks like the season for animosity will grow. It will swell. People will say things they're not supposed to say because they think that they're doing it to get job. But overall, I told to pull two things here. You remember the president was endorsed. The word endorsed was used, right?
Mhm.
By his inside of the people who already supporting him. Instead of
Yeah.
reaffirming the
Akawas great.
support,
Name, my man.
you know,
Name some of
yeah,
them. Akawas
instead
great.
of
So Joseph
reaffirming the
them.
support, they use the word
Yeah.
endorse. And I don't know how can you endorse somebody who you're already supporting and in camp with. Maybe Alfonso got another way to look at it. I'm looking at it from the reaffirmation. Is endorse the right word to use when you are already supporting somebody and you're in the camp? Do you endorse that person or you reaffirm your support to that person? Because endorse sounds like somebody's vying for a position and you're coming from nowhere, you don't know them or you're not associated with them, and you come in to put your endorsement forward. But when you're supporting them and you're already in the camp, you come to reaffirm your support because you could walk away, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
So
No, Volcano, you're correct. You're correct. Again, it's a political game. So, and mine, like I said jokingly the other day to somebody, I think they're just doing it so they can get their own money to go campaign for them, campaign for them. Because as you know, this is also we also are having legislative elections. So of course they want their package so they can go and divide money to people like they've been doing. But you're right, and then you can already be in the camp with somebody, then you come and say you are endorsing the person. Yeah, you're 100% correct. So I think it doesn't carry a lot of water. I mean, if you have Akaris Gray and those other people coming and endorsing George Weah, then it makes no sense because I mean they're already there
all
with him.
partisans.
The public knows that you're already there with him, and it's not like there's another candidate going against George Weah where you have to establish say, okay, no, I won't
Within the
support
CDC,
within the
within the
CDC.
yes,
Then you would have
that
said,
yeah,
no, I
yeah, I
endorse
endorse. Yeah,
again,
Weah. Then that would have made sense. Yeah.
yeah. So from my end, what I would like to say, let's first look at the literal definition of the word endorse. It implies approval, sanctioning, supporting. So politically, when an individual endorses a candidate, he or she is pledging political support, sanctioning the person's, agenda for whatever position he or she is seeking. So, like Volcano said, if you associated with George Weah over 12 years ago, you guys laid the foundation for the CDC. It means that you cannot come now and tell us, Akawas Gray, that you're endorsing him for the presidency. Volcano said the most appropriate word is what? Reaffirm. You can come to reaffirm that, hey, I stand with you. I supported you 12 years ago, and I am telling the people that you are the best person that can lead this country. You can reaffirm, like recommitting your support. It's not endorsement. Sometimes our politicians need to be educated a little bit. They just use words loosely, and that's real sad. And these are quote unquote national leaders. They get themselves so confused. They say things that just don't add up, completely delusional. It's so sad. So, Akawas Grace, Joseph, you guys did not endorse Mr. Weah. Instead, you reaffirm your support to Mr. Weah. Yeah.
let's go to a clip here. I wanted to put this. It and the reason why I wanted us to drive this segment in that same so-called endorsement or reaffirmation of support to President Weah.
Yeah.
He said he's the best president
Mhm.
since 1847. He built roads, and what did they come to rescue? But I want to play this clip here first.
Play that, yeah. Let's do some analysis around that. Yeah.
No, not the clip yet. We want to show the roads that we is building. Okay. All right.
We have a bad road medicine. I said bad road poison. It's a bad road poison. He poisoning this country. So you're not helping the country.
The Mestre PO.
They have closed door on us. When you move from here, you go to France. Charter will not go to France every day. They're talking out of here. Charter will always going to France. He's not the first president going to France. Charter went to France several times, even during the heat of the war. When he became president, he was always going to France. That was the only country that he easily visit. France, yeah, easily. For what reason, we don't know. Today, he's not here. Because the people will lie to you and they will not help you. So this is Liberia. Liberia is this. Liberia is that. Gloria is this. But Gloria road here. People live here say, I know. People talking about Gloria State. If not IFA come here because they come here because they doing their total business here, people would have been in here.
So I just wanted to give you a snippet of what actually the road connectivity looks like. And even a forerunner cannot go through that much. Okay.
It's
so
sad.
while you guys talk about that, let me find the clip where we are.
The guy say he not viral medicine, viral poison.
And absolutely, what we saw was a poison. Ain't no medicine. Instead of helping the people, the man is literally killing the people.
And interesting that guy is really he's straining that engine. I mean,
yeah.
And you imagine, Volcano, you can get a brand new Toyota today. You put it on our road, give you said 2 weeks, your transmission will go bad.
You will start experiencing problems.
Yeah.
The road, the car, it may be a forerunner, but equally is not equipped for that kind of
no. And then you overrunning the engine.
Yeah,
overrunning the engine, you start having transmission problem.
So when these guys do these things, when they undertake these projects just to get votes, that not a lot of thinking and research and planning goes into it. So these roads do not last. They just bring a grader and just no, they don't even bring professionals on board to study the road, to see where to, you need engineers to do studies, to study the ground, the environment. Is it even feasible, or is it the best?
The roads, we're building the roads.
All right, let me bring our man.
Yeah. What he say?
Yeah, the boy, man.
Trying to get this stuff going.
Man has their own building. The roads, we're building the roads. Free wide speed. What are they coming to do? What are they coming to rescue? And they told you that they squander the only opportunity they have. What are they coming to do? If someone ever inform you that free education is not the right thing to do, building roads is not the right thing to do, tell them, what are you coming to do? Perhaps somebody that stayed in a position for 12 years, after he left, in 5 years, everything going good, he's saying, coming back again, what is coming to change? We are the change. We are the change. They are not. Remember, fellow citizens, member of the Party Coalition, we all stood on the ground, on the walkway, because we believe in the doctrine of of saving our people, we stay right here. And here we are today. And here we will be tomorrow. We will be victorious. We will defeat any opponent in the election. Because the Liberian people agree
Yeah.
that this government is unprecedented. What? This government is the best since 1847. I say this government is the best government since 1847. You want me to prove it? I can outline things that we have done. The government built more hospitals than all the government of India. This government gave free education. This government paving every road in the interior, in the city. So you can see that your government, this government imposing power, is the best government for you. I want to tell you, I will be with you on campaign day. We must show our strength. This is our time. And don't let that time slip away. A second time, we will leave a legacy. Do not give the 95%, the 90%, the 98% or 85% what we have done in every sector. Go to somebody and they do 5% and they say they're the best. They cannot be the best. Let us finish our work. So give us the second time, let us do the 15 and 10%.
So interestingly, we are seem to be vivacious here. I don't know what he had taken that day, but this is the best of the draft phase he's shown, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me just recap quickly here. They squandered 12 years, and what are they coming to rescue? We have just taken over in 5 years. We've done more than 1847. More than 1847. We build roads. We build more hospitals. Roads in the interior, and we just show you a sample of what's happening. And free education to nowhere. Gentlemen, isn't this one of the things that will bother you? And let's call a spade a spade. If WIA is doing well, we're gonna say it. We're gonna say it. I'm not afraid to tell Mr. WIA you're doing extremely well, or I don't owe loyalty to any political opponent to be here and shrink away from the fact. But when you stand here, Mr. WIA, in 5 years, how can you outdo 170 years or 160 or 65 years of a country's existence in 5 years?
Right, yeah.
What's the measurement? Then you say you want me to prove it. I can prove it. It's build roads, build more hospitals. What's the more hospitals that you've built compared to what has burned on you? The hospital in Kagada got burned. The hospital in Volcano almost got burned to ashes. People, the town people literally had to go to fight to save that hospital, in part. So what is Mr. WIA showing off here to tell these young people who are not researching, who are not read, and just make up this kind of bold-faced lie, and Samuel Tua comes to him with this kind of lie, and and whatever he took that day, and he comes out there and listen to the way the guy is speaking. In fact, tell me, man, gentlemen, is that presidential nature? Is that presidential? For real? Is that how a president speaks? Is that how you dare to cry as a president?
No, look, Volcano. Let me flip my cap around.
What's the hat? I mean, somebody need to wear the hat. Like,
no, my cap that I'm trying to flip around. I'm trying to devote myself from being a journalist to a mental health specialist, because that's what I do for a living. Anyone who listen to
my
Mr.
heart is
WIA,
close by, Volcano.
anyone who listen, who just watch Mr. WIA, will agree with me that he sounded delirious. When someone sounds delirious, or when a person does something that we consider to be delirious, it means that the person was out of touch with reality.
But not
The
only that,
person, the person
let me just add
sounded,
quick.
yeah,
Look at his
mhm,
facial expression. He looks
yeah,
so wild. His eyes
yeah,
are split.
yeah.
He could
So
be
that's
breath
what
of
I said.
people.
He came across as delirious. He sounded like someone who was intoxicated. Because anyone in the right frame of mind would never have said that. How can a George Weah, who took over a country that is gradually sinking, and he says, since 1847, what they have done, no other leader in Liberia ever did that.
That is an insult.
Does he
Absolutely.
not live in a utopia? Mr. Weah live in the land of fantasy. We just saw the role that the man was complaining about, calling him what, the poison, right?
The road person instead of
Yeah.
road medicine.
He talked about building more hospitals. What is the status of the hospitals? Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was providing $250,000 on an annual basis to run hospitals around the country. When Mr. Weah and his people took over, what did they do? They reduced that money to $100,000. Even with that,
Since
he not
January.
paid.
Since January to
Since
now.
January. He talked about free education. What is the status of Tubman University, the University of Liberia, other community colleges?
Boga
What
Washington.
is happening? BWI, our BWI that I attended, BWI were highly supported by government. Today, BWI is struggling financially. And you have a man who lives in a dream world. Say, yeah, we're investing into education. Mr. President, you are in the wrong. I strongly believe that when Mr. Weah spoke that day, he was intoxicated. He was delirious. He did not come across as anyone who was right from my mind. Yeah. He was intoxicated. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's very upsetting here is that the man stands up there and lies and
lied.
tells big open lies to deceive people, especially the small children, as you said, Volcano, who don't know better, who don't know anything. He's standing there and he's lying to them and he's lying to the country. That's not leadership at all. This guy, as I said the other day, is incapable. He's not able. And it's sad that our country has that person as our president, as our leader. Because to be able to address a problem, you must first know that the problem exists. As far as Mr. Weah knows, Liberia is doing great. There's no problem. He's the best human being, the best president that ever walked the face of Liberia. And that is sad. That means he's not even going to lift a finger to do anything. He says he builds most hospitals. Is he kidding me? Where are those hospitals?
Where are they?
Well, and the hospitals in the counties were built years ago. Where did he build a hospital? In Buchanan? In Bassa?
In
Where
Grand
did he
Crew.
build a hospital? In Grand Jita? Where did he build a hospital? In Maryland? Where did he build a hospital? In Sino? Where are the hospitals he's talking about?
Now let me add quickly. When Ashford and I were with Bridge Radio, Ashford used to tease and said these are urgent care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Urgent care.
And the hospital he built, or the hospital that was built, not
The
even by
Federal
his,
Hospital is an urgent care.
yeah, not even built by the government resources, but by donors in Bapolu County, is exactly the hospital that the U.S. ambassador was referring to when he said the hospital sits there empty with nothing in it and no medication and it's empty. A hospital is not a building. You don't just put a structure up and you say it's a hospital. It needs equipment. It needs staff. It needs medication. That's what makes it a hospital. But again, as I was saying before, these guys want to fool the poor people. So they put a building up and they say this is a hospital, even though it's not functioning, and they say a built hospital. Put medicine in the hospitals that exist first before you talk about building hospitals. There's no medicine. The U.S. sends money. U.S. government supplies the hospitals, the facilities with medication every month because the Liberian government can do it. Even that they are stealing. And it stands up there and really lies to us and deceive the poor, uneducated children walking around. And that's annoying. I'm really upset about it.
Let me just say this too. And I'm going to look at you, the Liberian voters, tonight. And I want to look you in the eye. When President Weah stood up there and yelled at you instead of talking to you, he's yelling at you, okay? He's yelling at you because you don't know your front from your back, especially those of you who were under the sycamore tree and at the CDC compound. Accordingly, he was being endorsed, and it's all a concorded story to make it appear it is the same CDC people that are sitting around who are benefiting, and you are the ones who are going to stand there and yelling, yeah, yeah, and then you go home hungry. And they're going to come back again for another 6 years, and nothing's going to go anywhere. But I want to say to you, do you really believe that we are 5 years is better than 168 to 170 years of Liberia's existence? Do you really believe that the people from that point to now, including the Moses Sandy, Alphonso, that we are stupid, that we were not educated under a normal circumstance when education was education, that what you are going through now, many of you don't even know how to read and write, and you graduate from high school in Liberia under the pretext of this free education. Many of you cannot even spell. Many of you don't even know what's happening around you. And yes, and you want to believe that this man has led this country for 5 years and is the best that he has to offer. In the first place, he is the least in education when it comes to real education. He is the least in public speaking when it comes to real public speaking. He is the least in leadership when it comes to leading a society. None of our presidents prior to Weah who have scooped this low to even grade themselves. They will have capitalized on what their predecessors done and to move the country forward and not to take glorification. But Weah is about glorification. Weah is about praising himself. Weah is about being the first, the MVP of the county meet, the most valuable player in the volleyball, the most valuable player in the
basketball player, yeah.
Everything. Weah is about clothing himself with accolades that he doesn't deserve. Maybe the soccer stuff, we can give it to him. And he got it at a time when the world was in peril. I mean, let's put it right. Okay? But at the end of the day, we cannot measure up to any of the leader that predecessed him. Not even Charles Taylor.
Oh, come on. Man, don't belittle Mr. Taylor, man. Please, man. Don't do that.
In as much that Taylor didn't get the support, Taylor didn't have a normal condition to run that country, even with what he did, we can't compare to it. And so for him to stand there and do this to the Liberian people, he's insulting the intelligence of the Liberian voters. And this is a time for you guys to discern, to know between good and bad, to know between right and wrong, to know what you deserve as a people, and make that decision come October 10th. Because if he has done so much over Liberia's history for 5 years, then what else he will say when the next 6 years given to him? Because he hasn't done anything for 5 years, and neither will he do anything for another 6 years. That's my
Volcano, Mr. Weah is unfortunately a pathological liar. He takes pride in lying. That makes him feel good about himself. Can you imagine this man say, since 1847, his administration is the best? Where's the data that support that?
There's nothing.
No data.
No, he verbalized it by talking about roads and stuff.
But the data does not exist.
These substandard roads. That crap they're doing on the Roberts International Highway. You give the road project to a company that has no track record of building roads at that magnitude. It's all a crooked G thing they did all along. Nathaniel McGahey, all of them get in the court, and they take the money from government, they take the money from donor funds, put the Liberian people in all that debt. Posterity will have to deal with that, and
Yep.
they set a better rules. But listen,
You
let
know,
me make this
and
point quick, Moses, quick.
okay, yeah.
This continued argument they're trying to make when Joe Boyka said we squander some opportunities. Joe Boyka will have to be a part of the we, because they're putting it on the old man, but they know in Liberian politics, the president is law and gospel.
Yeah, we have a powerful
But the
executive.
president
Yeah,
could not separate himself. I mean, the vice president could not separate
yeah.
himself from the fact that he was vice president in that government. That is the professional thing. That is the honest thing to do. That is the thing of integrity to do when you say we. In
And you were part
leadership,
of it. Yeah.
in leadership, if I give you an assignment and we work together, when you go to dispense that assignment, you're not going to say, Volcano say, oh, I can't tell you what to do. You say, we
Yeah.
want you guys to do this. And so when Barker said we squander some opportunities, he was pointing to what Ellie failed to do. But he did not separate himself from it.
Because he was part.
He was part of the government. Not that he had a say, not that he had the last say in it, or he could have said, Madam President, if you don't do it, He was a humble man. He respected his boss, and he worked alongside his boss. There was no infighting. Joy Howard Taylor today, who was ostracized and thrown in the closet, she's not coming out. How much can she say? Tomorrow, when we start to point finger at Joy Howard Taylor, what would she say? She would be the one to say, "Oh,
She
you
was
know,
saying, no, I wasn't that. I'm out doing my own thing. Yeah.
Barker did not separate himself from what happened, but he was pointing to what Ellie failed to do. And that's the point that they failed to understand in this statement. We squander some opportunity. Barker did not say, I squandered some opportunity when I was vice president. He said, we. It is the collective government. It's at the Ministry of Defense. It is at the Ministry of Finance. It's at the Ministry of Education. It's every part of the government that squanders some opportunities. And I hope that people can learn from this and stop thinking that Boyka is the reason for squandering opportunities in the Ellen's government.
And Volcano, I would just like to say that what the former vice president said is a true attribute of a good leadership. In good leadership, you take responsibilities. When the group succeeds, the credit goes to everybody. When the group errs, everybody takes responsibility. You don't expect the former vice president to come and say, oh, it was Ellen. Then the question that comes, where were you? That's why he said, we take responsibility for what happened in the past. Yes, there were some things that we didn't do right. Leadership is continuity. And shamelessly, you have a man who does not even understand his left from right, comes and tell the people that in the history of Liberia, he's the best. Can you imagine that, my man?
They were some boy the other day who didn't quite graduate from high school.
Yeah.
And you want
you see that kind of embarrassment?
That's an insult to you and I.
Yeah.
That's an insult to you and I.
They say he's the best.
Go ahead.
It's just completely annoying. And as you all say, you have it correct. Where really is the data to show that he's the best person?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? That's the word in the street. These little children who were just born the other day don't know better. So you can put them together and lie to them and get your way through. You can even keep them impoverished. Make sure they are poor, they can't buy food for themselves. Make sure they're on drugs so you can use them. So you can go and take a few cups of rice and give it to them, and then you call yourself rescue mother, as Fenda Bondo is doing from the president's office. You know, it's a strategy. The children in the streets, they're on drugs. The entire national budget is $30,000 a year for mental health. So it's all designed to keep the children in the ghettos, in the poverty-stricken situations. So when we need them to come join our rallies, we can just take a few cups of rice to them
Give it
and
to
a
them.
few t-shirts, and they will be willing to come. Because if they are independent, if they're capable of feeding themselves, they will not run behind us. So let's keep them hungry. Let's keep them poor, and we can keep them on a leash, basically, and just bring them in whenever we want to bring them in. And you're telling me you have done better than all the presidents combined since 1840? Does he know who built the Ganta Harbor Highway? Does he know who built all those streets? Who built the bridges over all those St. Paul River and all of those things in that place? Does he know? Does he know who built University of Liberia? Who built Tubman College?
Fender campus, does he know?
The Fender campus, the multilateral high schools across the country? Does he know? Let's go to free education. We have laws on the books that primary education must be free. It's being implemented by other presidents way before, strengthened under Ellen Sirleaf. He didn't introduce that. That's where the focus should have been. He left that part of it up, and that's why he said universities level. That's why the children are jumping to university level without the foundation. That's why they can't read. That's why they can't write. When you go to university, if the university is not there to teach you subject verb agreement, they're asking you to write papers. At the elementary level, if he really knew what he was doing, that's where the resources should have been put. Liberia has compulsory education law at that level. And that is the reason why government has the responsibility to fund it at that level. He abandoned it. The passing around said they get free education. Free education in the LU is leaking. The president's crying every day. Free education taught my high. The children can't get paid. The teachers are taking money and passing children. And you say free education, you're boasting about it. Meanwhile, you say you gave free education, but you're still telling all you paying, you're giving scholarships. What is scholarship for that? And the school free. Yeah. I pay YX fees. How much is YF fee? Is that an accomplishment?
Yeah, you're paying that, and hundreds of thousands of them failing.
Yeah.
So the foundation is not there.
The foundation is not there.
Yeah.
The foundation is not there.
You are squandering opportunity. Let's put it that way.
Of course.
You're the one squandering opportunity.
Of course.
You're the one not putting opportunities in place. But gentlemen,
the man, and quickly, let me just say this man, right, to tell you that Mr. Weah, he's so delirious. Sometimes he says something like he lived in a different world. When that man came to the presidency, what did he do? He built for himself 49 condominiums. Oh, yes, that's true. That's what making Liberia best president. Because Liberia has no such history of any past leader that ever did that.
I did that, yeah.
So we gave him credit on that. He's Liberia best president. He stole the country's money and built for himself 49 condominiums that remain wild.
Built a Jamaica resort.
Yeah, he built a Jamaica resort. He tore down his 9th Street residence. Yes.
In Jamaica,
$60 billion government.
In Ghana, that property in many places in the world.
Oh, what a place.
You want to say that you best president.
You know
what? It's politics season, and so these guys would say things, and it's left to the Liberian people. Moses, one thing that Henry Costa said the other day, he said, whether they have election, he's not going to suffer. It's the same for you and I.
Of course.
And he was right. Whether they have elections or not, whether they put Weah back or they don't put him back,
we said you ought to eat.
They're the one who suffer. They are the ones who suffer, my brother.
Yeah.
So this thing is not about what we say here. Nobody hate this gentleman, but you can't come here and do this. It's an insult to a country and its history.
Yeah.
Because your history of 5 years will not add up to 171, like Dwight Duba Port says, years of our existence as a country. Don't come here with that 5 year of lawlessness, 5 years of extrajudicial killings, 5 years of rampant corruption, indigenous looting. And who are punishing these people? Those are the indigenous looters. They're the one pillaging the country's economy. They're the one taking at will and bragging and brazenly going about it. Flaunting the wealth in the faces of these poor people. And yet they continue to abuse them. It's a psychological abuse.
Of course
It,
it
it
is.
sounds like what's that syndrome? What's the called? What's the doggone syndrome? The Stockholm syndrome. You understand me? That the people still falling in love with their oppressors.
Oh yeah.
What is
Yeah.
happening? Well, let's
That's
go to
what.
memory lane quickly and do this stuff. You know, Moses, 9 minutes we gotta do.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this. Because of the program we had here tonight with the Booker
Yeah.
Washington Institute being featured here, the Alumni Association. Dr. Mani Sumo, who is also an alumni of
Yeah.
the school, decided to do something. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go to memory lane, Dr. Mani Sumo. The caption is Booker Washington Institute versus Firestone Rubber Plantation. Y'all remember in 1929, BWI was founded in Kakata, Gibi Territory, now Margibi County. In the same 1929, Firestone Rubber Plantation was founded in Marshall Territory, now Margibi County. So BWI starts in Gibi Territory, Firestone starts in Marshall Territory.
Yeah.
The two human capital development institutions were founded by citizens of the United States of America. We know the story of Harvey Firestone, and we know the story of Booker Washington.
Booker Washington.
BWI has stepping class at the time, right? And Firestone has tapping to tap the rubber. So the two institutions, one was providing typing, and one was tapping rubber.
And tapping.
Both institutions are in the same county today called Margibi County. I call them Liberia's only twin investment. But let me stop here for now and talk more about BWI, my alma mater. By that time, Liberia was sweet. Kakata had BWI, Lanco Lepe, KRTTI, St. Augustine, St. Christopher, and many more schools. I remember my freshman year on BWI when I was called Freshman Dog. When I became a senior, I was called God. One had to be mentally fit and disciplined to be a student at BWI. I remember BWI taggers from the Doo River, Lawana, Amandu, Sirleaf, Bidel. How can I forget the peasant boys? Those boys, those people, Mao, and the expertise among other social clubs. Students wore their best and went giggling and wiggling on the pavements looking for what they did not lost. These were great days, great old days, school days. How I remember BWI. Many of our schoolmates and classmates did not make it far. And yeah, we can only say rest in peace. He meant those who passed on.
Yeah.
But there is one thing that is true about BWI, the school ode. Today, those words we once sang and hoped for has come true. Someday, when our school life is over.
Sure.
Someday, when our school life is over.
It's over.
Dr. Mani Sumo, thank you for this piece in remembrance of BWI in the good old days. Well, Liberia can get back there. I don't know how much of the contribution that you and I will make, but what type of country is this? That every time we try to do the best, somebody say they're the best since 1847. Moses, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Use
What type of country is this that you have a president who reads at a third grade level, but yet he claims to be the most outstanding speaker in the country? What type of country is this? Someone who reads at third grade level,
Mhm.
but he goes around boasting that, look, of all the presidents in Liberia, I am the most outstanding speaker. What type of country is this?
What type of country is there that a leader, supposedly of a country, would just stand in front of his country and tell bold-faced lies with dry face? What type of country is this?
I tell you, what type of country is
Yeah.
this? What type of country is this? That someone look at the rules in rural Liberia.
This
He
is,
said, John, we are
this is a real question.
it's a real person. What type of country is this?
But why was it Colasco that was doing, acting like journalists over there holding
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Where your man at?
That
so
John, we are government. That what type of
you know
country,
what
yeah.
that picture is painting?
No.
Last looking for a job after this thing. He want to say he was a journalist.
Yeah.
One of the people that I'm going to-
Yeah.
But you know how Eugene Nagbe called it? Pepe Kala. Pepe Kala. Not Eugene Nagbe. I meant to say Eugene Fagon.
Eugene Fago.
Mm.
Pepe Kala.
Now, what type of country is this?
But
What
what
type
type
of,
of country is this, Moses?
yeah.
What type of country is this, Moses? When you have people who's supposed to be educated, because when you're in a house, to some degree, you're educated,
Yeah.
that don't know the difference between endorsement and reaffirmation of support. 40 men.
40 men, quote unquote lawmakers.
endorsing.
Yeah.
How could they say they were endorsing when they're in the camp, when they are active supporters and partisans of the coalition? How can you endorse when you're within? They don't even know the difference between endorsement and reaffirmation of support.
What type of country is this?
I don't know. If you guys know the story or have
Yeah.
heard it. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves.
Yeah.
Somebody put on Facebook and said, Joe, we has Alibaba and the 40 people in
What it
those
is-
Alibaba and the 40 Thieves.
And how did it come to that number though? 40. so yes, indeed.
What-
Adiaha
what-
Omu, come here. Adiaha Omu. What type of country is this that the president boasts
Yeah.
is the best since 1847? Imagine, and you know, I
Since
will,
1847.
and I will
Guy is
expect,
a narcissist. He must be best in everything.
but gentlemen, listen to this. I'm a Republican. I would have expected my president, Donald Trump, to have said that in as much as Donald Trump crazy, but he didn't even go that far.
No.
Donald Trump, as stupid as he didn't even go that far to say that he is the best president since 1775,
Yeah.
1775, since America's independence.
The
Can
man-
you imagine that?
Yeah. The people in Grand Crew County, where the man hail from, they have to travel from there to Maryland to charge their cell phone.
Charge their phone.
But yeah, you say of all the presidents,
And
he's
when
the
you call,
best.
and when you call them and say the phone I
The phone I,
Oh, not yet.
in Plebo. Tomorrow we'll go to Plebo for the phone.
But yeah, the song going around telling the whole world that you say of all the leaders in Liberia, I am the best.
No road to Grand Crew. People getting on canoes to come from town to town. No hospital. He talking about he build roads. What kind of
what
What
type
type
of
of country is this,
president is this? Who
Yeah.
says that he is the best president since 1847 when the country is filthy under him in
Yeah.
5 years than it has been since 1847? What
Exactly.
type of president is this?
Yeah.
The country is filthy and dirty under him. They're living in the dirt. People are dying from sicknesses.
Yeah.
And in 5 years, look how dirty he's made this country.
Yeah.
And you
What
say
type of
since
country is this?
1847, when I was
Jack-
growing up, they were even real of that. They were even-
Jackson F. Doe Hospital built by the Chinese under in Tapeta.
Yeah.
It was supposed to serve. It was a modern hospital that people used to come from other countries to come to. It was supposed to serve that region. That hospital is down today under him. And you talk about you build hospitals?
What type of country is this that
What
you
type
go
of country is
to
this?
a government hospital, you have two patients sharing one or oxygen generator. Everybody got separate tubes. Oh
You
my
mean
man,
oxygen tank?
yeah, the
That's the real
oxygen
thing.
tank. Yeah, they got to share it. What type of country is this? What
It's
type
like
of
this.
country is this?
Is it my earpiece?
Yeah, he said, my man, put it on one.
He
He said, I want for Moses. And the president is going around saying that I am the best.
But what type of president is this?
Mhm.
That right under his watch, he didn't know, according to him, and he know that they were paying people $45 below the
Yeah.
minimum wage. When
Yeah.
the minimum wage ending left it at $150.
$50,
What
yeah.
type of president is this? Who is the best president?
The best
People are
president.
making big, way below the minimum wage of
Yeah.
150. 150.
Yeah, to
Making
$45.
What type
He
of
said,
president?
"Labra best president." What type of president is this?
Mhm.
You know, still then you won't talk when
Yeah.
you're best president.
The president is naked, but he yet going around telling people say he's the best dressed. What type of president is this?
Rams Norton, what type of country is this where many people don't think before they speak? And that's true.
That's
Even
true.
the
What type
president.
of country is this? What type of country is this?
In Liberia, from 1847 to 2017, whose
Private
president
jet.
was just riding around in private jet?
Private jet president.
Yeah.
Whose president was riding around in private jet?
No. No.
No.
Whose president?
The
No
man
one.
will not take almost 50 days away from the country. He say he's the best.
Yeah.
But now we got to go to that. What type of president is this who runs away from his country because I want another vacation? He ran away from his country,
Ran away.
$2,000 per day
Yeah,
for almost 50 days,
yeah,
and you say you're running the country and
Yeah.
you're the best?
yeah. I'm the best.
Which Liberian president prior to your time did that?
No one.
No history of such.
Mr.
But
We
my
have
man,
this kind of behavior, man.
no,
you,
but you know
you know
what?
you even on
Volcano?
the job now, just step away. Don't come try to say you're making campaign speech and you're trying to buy sentiments of the voters. It's not gonna work. Do the job.
Hello,
Just do the job, man. Don't do that.
Volcano. Every time Mr. Weir speaks, he makes his job more difficult
Mm-hmm.
because there's just no data to support what he says. How do you come and say you are Labrador best president? The average person in Sally administration was earning $150. You reduce that to 45, and you say what? The Labrador best president? How
But
do
you
you
know,
support
you know
that?
what bothers me in all of this, Alfonso and Moses?
Mhm.
When the guy made this declaration of harmonization,
Mm.
the people bought in good faith that it was to expand
Mhm.
Mhm.
resources and the wealth across the board, right? So
Mhm.
that it's like follow,
Yeah.
follow,
Yeah.
follow,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes when the economy is strained, they
Mhm.
cut from us just so that
Yeah.
they don't lay
Just to
people
help
off,
the other people. Yeah.
so they don't lay people off, right?
Mhm.
So it sounded like that, and so people bought into it. But as soon as they took the people money, boom, the man bid for the non-condominiums.
Yeah.
Samuel 12 built. Jefferson Koji bought land in Single. You know what it means to buy land buy property in present day Single?
Yeah.
Cinco.
My
Uh,
girl
uh,
bought a
uh,
$300,000 home.
Tell me now, how can you treat people like that?
And the
you
man
say
say, Labrador best president.
And people and pregnant women are dying in childbirth because there's
Yeah.
no hospitals, no
Yeah.
clinics and stuff, and you
But look at
building
what
them.
Yeah.
Ramston says here. Ramston said, what type of country is this? Government hit the highest drug record.
Yeah.
See why
Wow.
he's the best according to
According
him?
to him, yes. What type of country is this that people arrested for what? $100 million worth of drugs?
Yeah.
Well, what? Let
Set
loose.
free. Set free.
Set free. What type of country is this?
But I know they're not going to like me on this, and I'm going to say this, and I'll say this emphatically. Say this, and
Yeah.
it came from his own party chairman who is still party chairman today.
Yeah.
That tells you the limitations of George Weah. Your party chairman comes and discusses you in the open.
Yeah.
He's still party chairman. Not only that, he's still party chairman. After discussing you, he promised that he was going to deliver the senatorial race of
Monserrado to you.
And if it didn't happen, him agree he palm.
A palm.
It didn't happen. He swept the man Thomas Fallon in the gutter, and that man is still there. But the man said that we are those drugs. We are smoking his weed when he's smoking weed, all kinds of stuff. Why you think drug is so pervasive in the country? If this president had no tie to drugs, no tie to alcohol, no tie to those things, he would have fought to straighten up the drug situation in his country.
Yeah.
That's also talk so.
No, that's the fact of the
If
matter.
you're not indulging in anything, you will speak against it and you will stand against it. If you're indulging in corruption, you will turn the blind eye. Why did Ellen not persecute anyone, even though she put us integrity institutions in place? Because she was indulging in corruption.
She was an enabler.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the
So
same
we
thing
are-
with George Weah. Yeah.
It's in drug. That is why he has done nothing to address the drug pandemic in the country, giving $50,000 to mental health.
A whole year, my man.
As a matter of fact, there are credible reports that government officials, top government officials, are involved in the drug trafficking trading in Liberia. They have connections because a lot of them have friends in Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau was a major transit point for drugs that go to Europe. So now, because of that connection, Liberia is one of the transit points now. A lot of drugs, cocaine that come there come from these South American countries. They transit through Liberia and they take them to Europe and they leave some in the country.
Yeah.
I think
And,
Kennedy, what kind of president is this who borrowed dialysis machine from one hospital to the next hospital?
Yeah,
What type of country is it? What type of president is this?
from Tapeta to JFK.
Can you imagine?
Is the
So,
best
so
president.
before they gave me reach to Jeff and then the man are down.
This man is the best president in 1847. What type of country is this
Yes.
that has no tugboat?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No talk boat.
Just a
In
tugboat.
Sano. In Maryland. No talk
Yeah.
boat.
I give up, man. I give up.
They
Let-
say
let-
LeBron
yeah.
best president.
Yeah, Alexander Hayes. What type of country is this where the government treats drug case like it was dog nut flour?
Yeah. Donut flower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the white
Yeah.
powder. I think
Yeah. Donut flower. Yeah. What type of country is this?
Oh,
What type of
yeah.
country is it that the party chairman can say, oh, that man, when he goes abroad, when the people gain money, he'll say that own money.
and the guy you see on
he,
his
said, I don't want the people give it though. The party chairman said, oh, my man, I thought that he said, my man, the man, that money, the man stock everything.
Yeah,
He said, the people give it to him.
yeah, better move from here than my money, yeah.
Not the money for me. I don't mean with my trip way to China. I like bring people way to China for that
Yeah,
money.
he said, my money.
Don't be for that, man. What type of country is this? That the
Yeah.
president takes donor aid and said that his own money.
The president
Only
money,
he made
man.
a trip. But Moses, I wanted to say this, and I hope that you guys can hear me out on this.
Yeah.
I'm afraid Alphonso, you, Moses, and myself might not be around. And I say this because of age, right? We will
yeah.
get,
Yeah.
but posterity will inherit a lot of unnecessary, debts.
Yeah.
Oh, of
That
course.
is why our country looks like what it looks like.
Yeah.
We don't have the integrity on finance. We don't put the money to the purpose for
Mhm.
which they were intended for.
Yep.
Everyone wants a cut, and by the time they cut from a 100%, only 10% get back into whatever that project was. Because everybody, for investment deals, Moses, you're coming for
Mhm, yeah,
investment
where?
deals, they do the same thing. They want people to give them money up front. That
Mhm.
the people get discouraged and walk
Yeah.
away.
Mhm.
When the small donor aid comes in, they take the donor aid. And you remember the story with this guy, Nathaniel Blama, who was at Enfield? You know why they terminated him?
Mhm.
Was in that interim when the COVID has started.
Mhm.
The guy went to Geneva and got $10 million, according to the story. I could be right, I could be wrong, but it was all in chattels. And when the guy returned on his way back, we are asking for 350,000 of that money to finish up and get the 14 military hospital ready. And Dr. Blumman told him, said, Mr. President, I can't do that. This is a donor aid money. We have to account for it. He said, if you can get our money, then it will be problem. What did they do? They put COVID on the guy. He was the first COVID patient in Liberia.
Yeah, man.
You know the story, man. Come on. Go
Yeah.
Google it. He
Yeah.
was the first COVID patient in Liberia. And they removed him from his position and put the deputy. And the story went to say that the deputy gave the $350,000.
Yeah, that's what they do.
So I'm giving you this example to say that
Absolutely.
way the money's intended for a specific thing and put it to something else, and when it's time to account for it, they cannot account for it. All they will pay the debt back.
That's why the man is Liberia best preso. Everything you're talking about makes Mr. Weir to stand out in a negative way. And so we crown him today. He's Liberia best preso when it comes to negativity. He runs a country where public officials are mainly concerned about kickbacks than the good of the country. That's why he stands out as Liberia best preso. He stands out as Liberia best preso when people go to hospitals. They are held as hostages, especially JFK, because they cannot afford to pay the medical bills. That's why Mr. Weir is Liberia best preso. Mr. Weir is Liberia best preso because it is his administration that reduced the salary of the average Liberians from $150 to $45 US a month. Mr. Weir is Liberia best preso because he destroys everything in the country. He pays no attention to detail. It's all about himself. Mr. Weir is Liberia best preso. We crown you tonight, Mr. President. Yes, this man is Liberia best preso, man.
And I like the line you go. So let's go there now. Let's go to that line. Those of you who are out there, Liberia best preso is George Weir. Liberia best preso is George Weir because he cannot even reshuffle in his government. He's too afraid that his honor man got so much on him that when he touched some of them, they will open their mouths to talk. That's what makes him Liberia best preso.
Yeah.
So Weir is Liberia best preso when his party chairman say he got to sleep with his ministers before he gave them job. So the very ministers now that in government, all the female ministers, we got to check them.
Liberia best preso.
He's Liberia best. I mean, we can go on and go on.
Liberia best preso. Go ahead.
He's Liberia best preso by standing in front of Liberian people and lying to them, say he built more hospitals, he built more roads than anybody since all the presidents combined since 1847.
But interestingly, gentlemen, the road that leads from ELW Highway, Rouse International Highway to George Weir Jamaica Resort don't even have what we call sidewalk.
Yeah.
It's just a little paved asphalt going down the hill.
Yeah, that's it.
The
man are Liberia best preso.
Road poison. Go around and poison all the roads.
Liberia, Mr. Weir is Liberia best preso because in the entire history of the Liberian presidency, he's the only Liberian president that was invited to the CIA headquarters. And he's
come back to that. Let me post this too quick. What type of country is this hashtag when all the government project becomes the president project?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go back to this one. What type of country is this? When you refuse the president order, automatically you have signed your death certificate. What type of country?
Liberia best preso.
Yeah, so he went to the CIA.
He went to the CIA headquarters, and Finakin stepping up. The guy, ma'am,
who are you?
Who are you? Achieve what did she say? Say, man, you need to step aside.
I need to be with the president. I said, man,
back up.
you don't need me here.
Hey, ma'am, get out of here. Get out of here.
You need to back up.
What happened after she
and then after she kills her, now she going over there. At the same time, your man Kolasco and say, hey, Ala. She asked Kolasco, what happened? Say, but Fina, you see the man? LeBron best president said he's sweating a cow, my man.
I wonder what you were even saying to the people.
Hey, Allah.
What kind of president is this who never speaks to his people in 5 years?
Yeah, LeBron best president.
First president to come to America to speak to his dog.
LeBron best president.
Roxy, I miss you, Roxy. Come on, dog, Roxy.
The man refuses to talk to journalists. LeBron best president.
Because he built roads that lead to nowhere.
Yeah.
LeBron best president.
George Weah is like your best president, GWILDP. He builds roads.
Yeah, you go to Grand Crew County, my man, you have to ride motorbike. To go to Maryland to charge your cell phone.
Charge your cell phone and come back.
LeBron best president.
They got in the town they can select one person who would take all the cell phones.
Yeah, they put the cell phones together and say, my man, you can't.
Yeah, all the cell phone and come by the following day.
I see that they may not charge a man until, my man, you own that $2 you pay.
Gentlemen, let's wrap up. Let's do our party news.
Yeah.
Let's start with Alphonso.
Yeah, no, it was a great show. I like the dimension we took tonight, which is to bring the BWI people on board. Well, community service is always important in journalism, so that was really great. And of course, discussion of political issues is always fascinating. So it was great. It's always a great team being with you.
Okay, please be the hotel dinner.
As president again, pitch us up.
The man say he poor.
The man lied.
Who say university is free? Finish up, Alphonso. You were saying.
Yeah, go ahead, Alphonso.
No. I was saying no. No. Okay. I was done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Moses, quick.
Yeah, from my end, I just want to say it was indeed a great show, and it was pleasing to host, my colleagues from BWI, and we look forward to that event coming to Delaware. So it was a very good interview, very good interaction. We want to tell the executives, the national president, Eric Harris, and my own sister and friend, we're having to be president of the Delaware Valley chapter, Tarlow Miller, for honoring our invitation. And Volcano, Alphonso, it's always a pleasure being here with you guys. We had a great time. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of the Issues Room, I'd like to remind the Liberian people we're moving into elections come October 10th, 2023. There will be a lot of things said to you, but you can see, you can feel, you can smell, you can taste, and you can hear. Your 5 senses are correct, irrespective of the current degradation you find yourself, the sad situations around you, the hardship. This is not Liberia. We are a proud people. We're able to fend for ourselves when the enabling environment is provided. Had it not been so, some of us wouldn't be successful abroad. Some of us wouldn't have done well in the diaspora. But because we had a foundation that was provided for us before George Weah. The sad thing here is, and I want to say this, and I want you to listen to me. Those of you who are now in Liberia, born within the wartime, and Charles Taylor and Ellen and now Weah, you cannot survive in the diaspora. Why I say that? You don't have the foundation. So for if we are to say that his government and his leadership is the best in the republic, I doubt it. If we were to take and do what I would consider a case study in research, take 25 of the people, young people now who were at the compound over there yelling and jeering, and we brought them here and threw them here, they won't survive because they don't have the skill, they don't have the education, they don't have the know-how. They won't be able to do anything in the diaspora, anywhere in the diaspora. So that's the first thing you need to ask yourself. Am I prepared internationally? And you're not. But our generation before we has time, we were prepared. And that is why we've succeeded. And that opportunity is yours to create by the leaders you put in power come October 10th. You want a president who will come and expose your country, who will bring in investment, who will open the corridors of opportunities. How many of you have gone on international scholarship? How many of you have gone on international exchange, student exchange, since this president took power? In fact, you can't get a visa. The embassy was closed for a long time under this president. The decision is yours, and I want you to think right. Gentlemen?
Great closing, my man.
Yeah.
And please let me make a disclaimer: Volcano is not campaigning for anybody. He just saying the truth.
It is the truth. It is the truth.
This is about Liberia. It's not about any of us on this show. It's about the good of Liberia. That's what we come here to do all the time. We have not taken side. Please.
No, Moses, and I thought about it because, Alfonso, you and I, Moses, we are surviving here because of
the little thing we learn. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But these children don't have it. And they just stand there and this guy stand and tell them both his lies.
Yeah.
They're not empowering them. And they're not even making an attempt to go out there to find knowledge, to gain knowledge.
Yeah.
And they're going to leave that place hungry tonight.
Yeah.
Hungry.
That's a damaged generation right there. That's a
it's look.
These are the people who will inherit our country.
They will make the decision who our leaders are.
Volcano.
They'll make the decision now,
but they are the future leaders.
Yeah,
they're going to run things. And it means the future of the country is done, because when you don't have people that are prepared to take it over, you know what will happen?
But that's why you have government officials now who don't even know what they're supposed to be doing. They don't know anything. They're just there. They're in the positions because they're,
just get entitled.
Yeah.
Let me quickly send shout out to all the folks here tonight. Momo Nelson, thank you for joining us here. It was a pleasure seeing you in the house. Come back before others to join us. Alexander Boniface, Emmanuel Hayes, always good to see you. Ram Snodden, Othello Dillon, good to see you. Gretchen Kennedy, it was good having you here in the house with us. We appreciate your viewership. We appreciate your commitment to the issues room. Adiaha Idonjiset Umu, all the way there in Australia. Good to see you. Understanding the time zone, if you can make the effort to be here with us, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Dwight Dugba Port, good to see you. Raymond Clark, I know you say you like this segment. Get me quick. Dr. Emmanuel Sumo, good to see you. Fergie Monu, as usual, it was good to see you. Mapu Hall, and everyone who made it here tonight. Henry Wenny, Richard Hammer. Every now and then you pop in and out. We hope that you can continue to be here with us. Jacqueline Bush, it's good to see you for the first time. Amma Freeman, good to see you. Maria Gardell, good to see you. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back here on Tuesday. By the way, Tuesday Conversation is another community show. Let me just quickly put this out here. My little brother passed away in June 27th. Will be 2 years since he passed. He was a reverend and a gospel musician, the Reverend Oliver Gibson. And when he passed, his friends who he kind of worked with in the gospel arena decided to come together to plan a convention in his honor, annual musical convention in his honor every year, and to raise funds to build a theater, a musical theater in Liberia. As I speak with you now, we'll be bringing the leadership in here on Tuesday, because this uh, next weekend I will be in Minnesota for the convention, and I will broadcast the issues room will broadcast on Friday from Minnesota, meaning the main host studio will be in Minnesota, and we'll be there for the weekend. On Sunday night will be a major gospel concert of all the Liberian churches in Minnesota, because Oliver worked with many of the churches there to help structure the choir, train the musicians, and so forth. And so they came together to organize this annual convention every year to raise funding for this theater of the first of its kind. They've already procured the land, they've paid for the land to build the theater. It will be somewhere on the Kakata Highway, around the Todi Junction area, not far from BWI. And so they're gonna host this musical concert to raise funds to start the foundation for this theater. So Dr. Samuel Deputy, who was here, is the president of that convention. He will come in with other members. So I just wanted to send a word out that we'll be hosting them on Tuesday as a precursor to the convention, to raise their light and bringing people together. Oliver was well known in the Baptist Compact. He was well known in he was a member of the 1,000 Voices. He was a member of the international gospel group that was established in the what you call Danande, the Liberian refugees musical group that was established. He was one of their directors. Very masterful musician, and peace be to his ashes. He died at the age of 52 from sudden heart attack, and it was saddening. And it'll be 2 years next week since he passed, and his friends and Christian brothers decided to do this in his honor every year, and that is why I have taken what I would consider it dear to my heart, and as a staunch supporter of it, and I'll hope that whatever you guys can do to join the conversation on Tuesday, we'll be willing to have that conversation. But sometimes we need to leave the politics and look
the good thing, the
happening.
contribution of people.
So that will be the show for next Tuesday. So we'll catch up, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Okay, man. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. Sorry for the loss again.
Yeah,
Definitely, Sarah. We'll support you. We'll support the program. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.